This is a World War II veteran who is 98 years old, and we're going to interview him and talk about his time in his life.
What's your name?
Joseph Sparandio.
What was your branch of service?
U.S. Navy.
What was your rank?
Commander.
What was a typical day on camp?
What was what?
What was a typical day on camp?
Typical day?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just were on ships and we just did our activities and did the various exercises and just cruised along depending on what our operation was.
What was your favorite part of service?
My favorite part of service was being the captain of a Navy destroyer.
What was the weirdest thing you ate?
What was what?
What was the weirdest thing you ate? What was the weirdest thing you ate?
The weirdest thing I ate was a balut, which is a Philippine, it's an egg, a duck or chicken egg that's been let and they're put in the ground until they become fertilized, and then they're set for a month, and then you eat them. Now, you don't do it unless, particularly in the Americans, don't do it unless they're half snockered when they to do it.
When were you the most scared?
Where was I what?
When were you the most scared?
When was I most scared? When the Chinese admiral pointed his guns at me as I was trolling the China Straits back in the 1960s.
What was the funniest thing you did? What was the funnest thing you did?
First thing I did,
What was the funnest thing you did?
the finest thing I did,
Funnest.
funniest thing, oh heck, I don't know if I had anything really funny. I'm trying to think what it was. I'm sorry, I got hearing aids. That's why I keep asking again. The funniest thing I ever did was, I guess, when I was at the end of World War II, I went into Japan and I was in Tokyo, and I was I was an aide to an admiral, and I had a Jeep, and I tried to take my Jeep up Mount Fujiyama, and it obviously it didn't get too far, so I had some of the Japanese push me for another few yards, and probably the funniest thing I ever did.
How did you meet your wife?
The Navy sent me back to the University of Louisville to college back in 1947, and while I was there, I met Marianne. As a matter of fact, after the first date, I told my buddy, we had the two of us dated. He dated Marianne's good friend, and I told him at the end of the date when he was driving me home, I said, I'm going to marry that woman, and I did.
How did your friend and you meet?
How did
you and your friend meet?
Well, we were both at the University of Louisville. We were the only two naval officers there.
What's your sergeant name?
Like, what's your rank? Like, what's your
Commander?
What's
Commander.
your full title?
Commander, U.S. Navy.
How did you get your dog, Pepper?
How did I get my dog Pepper? Well, when your great grandma Marianne died, all of a sudden, one of my daughters, Carla, was in a car, and she said, "Dad, I have a dog for you." And I didn't want a dog, but I got a dog, Pepper. Pepper's now is 18 years old. He's a mix. He's mostly a poodle, but he's a mix with one of the other dogs. one of the small dogs. But he's getting real old now too, though.
Last question. How many grandchildren do you have?
I let me give you my whole family. I have 5 children, I have 13 grandchildren, and I have 10 great grandchildren. You are number 3 of the 10 in age. Is that all?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, have a good day and God bless America.